you are looking at the latest data, that tells us that even in 2012 and 2013 projection, if you are looking at it, the bring your own device, BYOD, is gaining a lot of traction across not only US but also in India. But when you are actually looking at the reports of penetration, reports of vulnerability, malware compromises, and these kind of reports, you will see only 3 to 5% of corporate endpoints are compromised, but 20% of consumer grade endpoints are compromised. Meaning, I say, okay, you are allowed to use your iPhone to connect to the LDAP of the company to look at the Outlook. But you also use the iPhone to do Facebook, you also use it to do whatever you want to do. So the malware compromise on a consumer grade endpoint, which is your own device, is upwards of 20%. If you are using a corporate endpoint, then the problem is 3 to 5%. Now, as we are going towards the bring your own device technology and also the cloud and endpoint, it will become increasingly complicated to manage the endpoint security on the cloud. We can deep dive on that. It's a very passionate debating point. But the threat is going to be employee-owned devices. These are going to be the threat for the company. And the projections are by 2014, about 40% of, by 2017, I'm sorry, 40% of enterprise contact information would have leaked into Facebook via employees' use of the mobile device collaboration applications. And the people are nowadays using Dropbox to put company data there so that they can work on it from somewhere else, or to share company PowerPoint presentations or the financial spreadsheets. And as these things are becoming, the box is giving 50 GB of free space, and you have no idea how secure is their endpoint. So the threats are going to be the cloud and people using their own devices, mixing their life with the business, right?
That's
so
a great
this
point.
is going to be a major threat.
That's a great point, Murali. And maybe I would like to add a few more things or clarify. That's 5 years back or 10 years back, we used to see the threats mostly on the network side. And it seems like today, the threats are kind of going up from the network level to application level. So in the last few years, we have seen so much of attacks on the application level. So threats move from network to the application. And it seems to me, just to add to what Murali mentioned, related to BYOD and employees combining their professional and personal life, or rather it's getting combined in a kind of seamless way. So this year, my strong belief is that the threats are going to be in the human element. So it's from network to applications to the human layer. So for example, if you just kind of look back just a month back into the MIT hacking that happened. So during the MIT hack, what happened was that the website got hacked despite the fact that the website did not have any vulnerability. So in fact, I wrote a blog on our website some time back. So website did not have any vulnerability. There were no application level vulnerability. There were no network level vulnerabilities, but still they got hacked. And the reason that happened is because the hacker did social engineering on one of the users, and that user's laptop got compromised. And because his laptop got compromised from that system, the hacker could get access to the password, and then using that, he could actually change the settings of their control panel, etc., and redirected the website to his own malicious website. So it's a kind of hacking without hacking. So that website did not get directly hacked, but because of a human vulnerability, or because of a vulnerability in some other user, this happened. So it seems like in this year, we are gradually moving up the ladder, moving from network level vulnerabilities to application, and finally, this year will probably be the humans who will be targeted the most. So,
and on top of it, like for example, you take major technologies we use these days, Java Enterprise, J2EE, And Sun Microsystems used to follow a release process. I know it because I was the chief quality engineer for the Java Standard Edition for 5 years in Santa Clara. So we have a release cycle, a waterfall model or whatever it takes to do a 6-month release or a 3-month patch release or a monthly patch release and so on. Now, there is a major 0-day vulnerability in the Java applet, the Java runtime, and Oracle said, hey, we will release it when we are ready. And that has put millions of end-user devices for a 0-day vulnerability exploit. And Apple has to go and they have to disable JRE on the Safari browser for 300 million users or something like that. That is when Oracle went ahead and did an emergency patch. And next week, Facebook got hacked. Facebook engineers, not the Facebook end users who are using the Mac, got hacked. So the companies which are releasing their platforms, if they are not following a anytime release to fix 0-day vulnerabilities, then millions of users will be put to unnecessary risks because a vulnerability is has an impact of impacting billions of devices today compared to a decade ago. It was millions of devices, now billions of devices. So the release practices of major companies are going to become a major threat from a CISO point of view. The core platform that you are going to use to build your enterprise stack and what is the release schedule for the patches on that is going to be a major nightmare. And a lot of CISOs are losing their sleep on that decision today. Go ahead.
Great, Murali. So, let's conclude this question in terms of what we discussed. Like the threats are top threats are going to be on the human layer. On it will be related to the cloud, as Murali mentioned, related to BYOD, and of course, I think Apple is going to be targeted a lot more this year. And probably the reason why Apple had less vulnerability was because it was less popular and not because it was more secure. So with Apple's growing popularity, there will be a lot of attacks on Apple. It's going to be the year of attack on Java. It's going to be a year of attack on the top companies, which are critical when it comes to the the intergovernment cyber warfare kind of scenario. As you can see, China is kind of US has indicated that China is attacking a lot of their top companies.